When I first dreamed of visiting Italy, a longing stirred in my soul to ride an iconic Vespa through the rolling countryside. Oh yeah! Well, I got my Vespa today and we're gonna make it happen. It may seem impossible, it may seem daunting, but summon your courage, strap on your helmet, and we're gonna get rolling. In this video, I'll share with you reasons why you should rent a Vespa when you're here in Italy, explain how you can do so, and along the way I'll share with you some stunning scenery of some picturesque vineyards. The Vespa. We can thank Enrico Piaggio for this because in post-war Italy, when the country was ravaged, he came up with this design, elegant, also very functionable, with the step-through body design, a small motor. It became an instant hit here in Italy. Over the decades, it stuck around. The Italians love this little two-wheeled motorbike, and also it's known around the world as well, a symbol, an iconic symbol for the country. As iconic as, say, the Colosseum or pizza and pasta, we have the Vespa. It's also your ticket to carefree exploration here in Italy and around the world. Why rent a Vespa? Well, you could rent any sort of motorbike when you're here in Italy, but for some, and for me, and probably for you too, a Vespa is a must. It's like buying a ticket to see the Colosseum in Rome or taking a gondola ride in Venice, and it gives you a certain amount of freedom as well. It allows you to zip up to see those little villages on the hillside or navigate through some tight city situations. Also, when you see that perfect picturesque spot, you can stop and take a photo. We're in Italy, so of course, cruising the vineyards and stopping for some wine, well, that's a must. Here in Italy, the vineyards are as common as Walmarts in the United States. In Tuscany, you find them everywhere. Also in other wine-rich areas like Veneto, and in Piedmont, you can have the same experience on a Vespa. Stopping at a vineyard also gives you a chance to rest your arms, rest your legs, and to rest your mind while having a little sip of wine and maybe buying a few bottles. Look at this. This is Italy. This is amazing. Now, planning a Vespa trip through any of the wine areas like Piedmont, Veneto, or here in Tuscany, it's pretty easy. Just consider in high season, you might need to make some reservations because these places get very busy, especially on a weekend like we have today. They'll bring you some nibbles and of course some wine too, and you can do a wine tasting and taste all their wines. We're on the motorbike today, so I'm only having a little bit, maybe buying a few bottles of wine, so cheers. Let's dig in. It was sort of warm. Unlike typical bread from Florence, this is salty and it's got some oil in it as well. A bit of a focaccia, really. And the wine. Any of the vineyards you can stop in and buy a bottle of wine, and that's what we did today. We got one of their reserves and we're in Chianti. It should be some good stuff. Grazie.
You're welcome.
Thank you. If you guys are enjoying this video content, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It helps me get the video out to more people. And if you aren't yet subscribed, click that little subscribe button down below. Become a channel subscriber and get notified every time I post a new video. These lovable Vespas, they come in all sorts of sizes. Over the years, you would have seen them, the old classic 50cc model, buzzing through the tiny small city streets, and even the bigger models back in the day, like the P200. I had a P200 when I lived in California. those things would take you anywhere. And in fact, they've competed in the Paris-Dakar race as well. After the 60s and 70s, Piaggio came out with the newer Vespa models that no longer has the classic lines that we saw back in the days, but they still keep that same elegant styling. They come in 50 models, they come in 150 models, and they even come in electric models. And this thing right here, well, it's a 300cc motorbike, and it's a beast, but it's comfortable riding. What do you need to know about renting a Vespa? Well, first of all, just like driving a car in Italy, it's not for everyone. And as I often say, if your plan is just to stay in the big city like Florence, Milan, or Rome, then take the train. The high-speed trains run well between the big cities like Milan and Rome. If you want to get out and explore the countryside to these little villages, well, consider renting a car. And if you really want to live up the Italian experience, rent a Vespa like this today. How do you find one? How do you reserve? Well, it's simple. Go on Google Maps to the city you're going to visit and then do a search, Vespa rental. You can put it in English and it'll show you the spots, the places that will rent you Vespas, and from there, a lot of those places usually have online forms that you can fill out. Or wait till you get here in Italy and just ask at the hotel, hey, where can I rent a motorbike for the day or for 5 days? Now keep in mind, just like everything, in the high season, you're gonna need to plan more in advance. And like for this 300 model that I booked, they were completely booked on most days, and I had to wait until today for availability. They have 6 of them. All 5 of them are rented out, but this one, some Germans have them for 2 months. So plan in advance if you want to get a cool Vespa. And what do you need to have? What documents do you need to have to rent a Vespa? Well, you need to have your car driver's license. Make sure you have that, and you're gonna need your passport as well. You can rent up to a 125cc motorbike with just a regular driver's license. Now, if you want to rent something bigger like this 300 I'm driving today, you're going to need a motorcycle driver's license before you come over here to Italy. What about international driver's license? Do you need to have your license, translated to an international driver's license before you travel? No, in Italy they don't ask for that. If you want to be safe before you travel, you can go to your local DMV, your driver's department there, and get one. I think you pay around $15 and have that with you when you travel over here to be on the safe side. But from my experience, you won't need it. The hardest part about the Vespa is that on these 300 models, they are hard to get up on the stand. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, second try. All right, in any of these little Italian villages, you can find a little place, get a little panino, and that's what we're gonna do now. Let's get some food. Now, another option, if you don't want to take a Vespa out on your own, is you can join a tour group. There are several tour groups in towns like Florence that offer Vespa tours, and so you go out with a group of 10 or so, and the great thing about that is you have a guide, so they know the exact roads you need to go on. Also, a lot of this information about traveling around Italy, getting to and from Italy, and things you need to know about cash and internet, I made an ebook, and the information's in that guide, so you can download it. There's a link in the description below. We're here at another vineyard, Casa di Emma, and this is one just south of Florence. I'll put the link to these down in the description below, but you can pop in and out of all these vineyards, do some wine tasting. Again, if you have it scheduled, we don't have anything scheduled, but we're gonna get a bottle of wine. Got it Another bottle. This is a Chianti Classico. They had the Grand Reserva there, but it was a bit out of my budget, to be honest. 82 bucks. This is 39, and it's all organic wine. It's some of their first organic wines that they're producing here in this vineyard, and it's one of my favorite because I remember coming back here during the times of the pandemic in 2020. Return now. Got some more wine for the cellar. About motorbikes in Italy? Well, Italians love them. You'll always hear the roar of the motors or the sounds of the horns in the cities or out in the countryside. And again, when the Vespa was introduced in the 60s, it became a part of the society, and especially here in a country where the roads are small and the parking's limited, well, it fit right in. I've ridden motorbikes in other countries before, the United States, Vietnam, Thailand. You may feel like you're a nuisance to all those SUVs when you're riding a bike in the United States, but here in Italy, on a motorbike and indeed on a Vespa, you feel a part of a tribe. The great thing about a Vespa, it doesn't take much to fill it up. All day of riding and only €7. Just to let you know, I'm putting out a regular email newsletter now with travel tips and hacks and things like renting a Vespa. All sorts of information's in there. There's a link to sign up in the description below. Also, become a YouTube channel member, get customized emojis, prioritize replies to your comments, and early bird viewing to my videos before they're released to the general public. Renting a Vespa in Italy, it gets you off the beaten path that you walk in the city centers, in and out of museums, and it gets you out to the countryside exploring closer to the true heart and soul of Italy and on a Vespa. Now check out this video here I made next about renting a Fiat 500 in Italy.